Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining me today. So, I have been away for a minute, and I've been working on my health. So, I had to sort of hit the reset button to stop what I was doing as far as my art for a minute, work on my health so that I can get a running start on what I've been doing. And so far, I have been doing this new lifestyle. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle where I do intermittent fasting for like every day. Every day is an intermittent fasting day. And so far, I've been able to drop 12 pounds doing it. So it's more of a 16-8 and sometimes a 20-4. Depends on what day it is. And then I have about 2 days a week, which is the weekends mainly between Friday and Sunday, where I do OMAD, 1 meal a day. And it has really been helping. It's helped me mentally, it's helped me physically, it's helped me sleep. My blood pressure is down and much more regulated than it was before. And it really does the body good. So I quit snacking between meals. I don't eat any carbs and sugar. And I'm mostly on protein and fiber. So one day, I'll get on here when I do reach my goal and talk about autophagy and what fasting does to the body and to the mind and how it gets rid of broken cells that you don't need and gets rid of all the junk out of your body. A lot of people may call it a cleanser, but but this is not a diet that I'm on. It's a new lifestyle. And this is where I'm at. So I had to hit the reset button on things and work on my health for a few weeks and then get back to my art. So now that I'm able to regulate my time and I can see, okay, I walk early in the morning, I can come home, do a little writing or whatever. And when I get home from work, do a little writing, whatever. So anyway, enough of that. Just wanted to encourage some people out there and let them know that if you embark on that journey of a lifestyle change to work on your health and your weight and your blood pressure and all of that stuff, then go for it. So we're going to get to what I'm running out of the gate with now. It is called The End of the Hallway. And let me tell you, curiosity killed the cat in this one. Curiosity. So we have this young woman named Artis who goes to work for this older woman. And she's sort of like a on-site home health care aide or whatever. And when she goes, she has a room upstairs, but then there's another room upstairs and the door is locked. And it's at the end of the hallway on the third level. So, of course, she wants to know why this woman doesn't want her going in there. Okay. And there's a reason. The woman said, take the front bedroom. Don't worry about that back bed. But she wants to find out what's in this room. And you know what's in this room? Y'all about to find out. Okay. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and all of the above. And I'll see y'all on the other side, and we will talk about what happened. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye. What is time? What is space? What if time was only in the mind? With respect to where we are, you will find that time could only be what you perceive as you go back in time in the Attic series. Chapter 1. Mrs. Townsend gets around pretty good, but she needs someone to be present overnight, at least 3 nights a week.
She'll need someone to meal prep and clean as well. Artis was happy to get the job, even if it meant dealing with an older person that could be a little cantankerous, considering in 2026 it was hard to find work. She had worked for the federal government but had lost her job due to the Doge sweep. Are you interested in the position? The recruiter asked. Of course, Artis was interested. Why wouldn't she be? It was a decent salary, and Mrs. Townsend was wealthy and willing to pay. Yes, ma'am, I am. The woman handed her the woman's information, and the very next morning, she showed up for work on time. Now, Mrs. Maybelle Townsend was a stout woman, medium height, and she walked with a cane. You must be Artis Green, the woman said the minute she opened the door. I would have thought you would have been a little older than that. Well, I'm 27. That's still young. Come on in here. The woman continued talking as she led Artis through the living room and into a room she assumed might have been a den. 27. Hopefully that won't be a problem. Anytime I get somebody in here under 35, they disappoint me. Always on TikTok, playing tic-tac-toe on their phones. No, ma'am, that won't be a problem. I don't be on my phone during work hours. Good. Now have a seat right over there and let me get a good look at you. Artis sat across from the woman in the den. Now I don't require much, other than to prepare lunch, clean a little, and help me get to the doctor. You got a driver's license? Yes, ma'am, I do. Good. I got a van out there, and your room would be upstairs on the 3rd level. Take the front room. It's all prepared for you. Thank you. Now go on. Get settled in now. Artis only had an overnight bag containing 2 changes of clothing and toiletries. She was required to wear a uniform during work hours. She opened the bedroom door. Inside was a full bed with a floral comforter, dresser, and a small TV that sat on the dresser. The closet was small, only large enough to accommodate a few outfits, but she did not mind. She had to move in with her sister and brother-in-law after losing her job. Being away from their home gave her time to get her thoughts together. Mrs. Townsend did not seem to require much, and her home was quiet. She placed her things on the dresser and changed into her uniform. Before leaving the 3rd level, she noticed a door at the end of the hallway. The hallway was dark. She turned on the light. Curiously, she headed to the door and tried to turn the knob. It was locked. She remembered Mrs. Townsend telling her not to go into that room. She wondered what was behind that door that was such a secret. What was the woman hiding? She headed back downstairs, prepared lunch, and did some cleaning. She spent the night at the woman's house because the next day she would be taking her to her doctor's appointment. Chapter 2. That night, after helping Mrs. Townsend to bed, Artis waited until the woman was sound asleep before she headed upstairs. She showered, put on her pajamas, and got on her phone. Mrs. Townsend was staunch when it came to not being on the phone during working hours. She decided to head down that hallway. She used a small needle-like object and she stuck it inside the keyhole to see if she could get the lock to unlock. After several tries, she gave up. Then she headed downstairs. She could hear Mrs. Townsend snoring when she reached the second level. She tiptoed to the master bedroom and shut the door before heading to the main level. She looked around, trying to see if there were any keys lying around anywhere. She opened one of the drawers under the counter. There were no keys inside the drawer. Then again, why would Mrs. Townsend even keep spare keys on the first level? She would bet the woman had the key to the room on her own key ring, which she kept in her purse, and her purse stayed with her. She turned off the light and headed upstairs to the bedroom. She realized she had a missed call from her friend. Hey, Whitney. What's up, girl? Not much. Just checking to see how it's going with you with your new gig. I'm loving it. You know, she's not real needy. Yeah, I know it ain't what you used to as far as a career, but I wanted to make sure you still had all your sanity. Well, from what it seems so far, I think this won't be as crazy as working in the office. But there's something I need to tell you, girl. She got up and closed the door of the bedroom. Then she lowered her voice. So, there's a room down the hall that she keeps locked. I think there's something she's hiding. Like what? Dead bodies? I don't know, but I'm curious. Maybe she got some really valuable things in there. Who knows? Why else would people keep a door locked like that? I don't know, Whitney. I don't think so. I think it's something else. Why? She has the door locked. The room is on the third floor. Chances are, if someone broke in, it would be very, very difficult to steal anything from that room and get out there clearly like they would if they was like on the first floor or something. Artis had to agree with her there, but what? What would be that valuable? She wasn't a thief, but she was curious. That's it. So are we hanging out this Friday? Or do you have to be with her? No. Fridays are my own. Oh, cool. I'll see you then. In the meantime, forget about that mysterious room, okay? Forget about that room, girl. Forget about it. But Artis didn't find it that funny. Mrs. Townsend was nice, but there was something strange about her. She definitely spoke what was on her mind, but behind those large questioning eyes seemed to be a mysterious edge. Chapter 3. Artis and Whitney hung out Friday night, and she spent the rest of the weekend with her friend. She was in no big hurry to return to her sister's house. She never got along with her brother-in-law, so having the type of job she had was ideal for her situation. She returned to Mrs. Townsend's house Monday morning. She rang the bell. It took the woman a while to get to the door, and Artis had to wonder if she was okay. Maybelle opened the door. You know, I meant to give you a key to the house, so I won't have to answer the door every time you report for work. Oh, okay. Well, how are you, Mrs. Townsend? I'm getting along all right. And you? Artis took her belongings up to the third level and placed her bag on the bed. When she returned downstairs, Maybelle was standing in the kitchen near the hutch. She dropped a set of keys into a ceramic cup and closed the cabinets. She did not see Artis standing near the stairs. Artis's eyes zoomed in on that cup. Perhaps one of those keys belonged to that room upstairs. She waited until Maybelle went into the kitchen before heading into the dining room and collecting the breakfast dishes. Maybelle had fixed herself a cup of coffee and toast. She washed the dishes and started a load of laundry. Most of the day consisted of cleaning the main level, fixing lunch, and doing laundry. After dinner, she helped Maybelle into the tub and helped her to bed. When she reached the third floor, she was reminded of that room, that locked room, that door at the end of the hallway. Before heading into her bedroom, she returned to the second floor first. Maybelle was sleeping. She could hear her snoring. Artis tiptoed downstairs to the dining room, opened the cabinet, and removed the key ring containing the 3 keys. She held them tightly to keep them from jingling as she made her way back upstairs. She stopped briefly on the second level, making sure the woman was still sleeping before heading up to the third floor. The floor creaked slightly as she headed down the hallway, and she stopped. Then she continued down the hall. She tried the first key. It did not fit into the keyhole. Then she tried the second key. That one did fit, but it would not turn the lock. She closed her eyes, hoping that third key would work. She slid the key into the keyhole, took a deep breath, and turned it, and the lock released. She released a sigh. She could tell no one had been in this room for years. It was dusty and had an odor that smelled weird. And it looked like a place from long ago. She wondered who used to occupy this room. The woman did not have any children to speak of. The room contained a twin bed, dresser, and an old tube TV. She looked in the closet. There were men's clothes from something that looked like it must have been in the 1980s. There were Kangos, fedora hats, bucket hats, sweatsuits, Adidas sneakers, a few slacks and dress shirts. There were a few colorful shirts, which is what she figured was the style back then. Whomever this man was certainly knew how to dress, especially during the time these styles were in. She removed a box from the closet shelf and opened it. Inside contained photos of a handsome man with a couple of rappers from back in the day. The same guy was in the photos with various women. She turned over one of the photos of him alone. On the back of the photo was inscribed, Dean, December 1988. Beneath all of those photos contained letters and mail. She found a doctor bill for $75, an old pay stub, and an envelope with his name on it. There was no return or mailing address on it, just his name. She opened the envelope, and there was a letter. August 7, 1988. Dear Dean, I cannot believe you would hurt me that way. It was so embarrassing. You knew how much I have loved you since the day we met. But when that woman told me you were at her house the other night, I was deeply hurt. You told me you were at a show with LL. All of the love we've shared meant nothing to you. Giving myself to you means nothing. I wish you had been honest, but you were cheating and lying about cheating. I loved you with everything I had inside of me, and I cannot handle the betrayal. Then you ignored all of my calls as if I never even existed. I hope one day you wake up and realize the consequences of your actions. A. She noticed the woman only signed the letter with her first initial. She wondered who this woman was and why did she have it so bad for this Dean person. She looked at his photo again. He was indeed handsome, so she could not blame this woman. But Artis thought there was no way she could be that in love with a man that she would write him a letter that he could possibly show everyone else, hence embarrassing her. She would never even send a ninja a text message like that. So she called Whitney. How'd you get in that room? I thought you said the door was locked. It was, but I found the key. What? What's so funny? What is so funny? Listen, you always looking for trouble, girl. That's what's funny. Always looking for trouble. You just can't rest until you find out. You just couldn't. You just couldn't rest until you find out. No, wait, man, hold up. No, it's not even that. I was just curious. All right. So now that you know what's in that room, what are you gonna do with all this info, ammo, whatever? Listen, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I was just curious. That's all. Yeah. Okay. So what do you mean you don't know though? I mean, I thought maybe you trying to find out something about the woman so you can blackmail her because you know she is wealthy. But hopefully this will solve your curiosity and you'll close the door, lock it, and return that key where you got it from. Okay. Dang, Whit. Although Artis agreed verbally, she knew good and well she would be in that room again. She wasn't done getting answers. Chapter 4. Over the next few days, Artis waited until Maybelle Townsend went to sleep before removing the key from the hutch and going back into the room where Dean slept. She found lots of photos of him with women, other dudes at parties, events, shows, and just profiling their vehicles that were popular during the 1980s. She thought maybe he was quite popular during that time. What was it about this man that drew the company of famous actors and rappers? It was not until a week later that she learned more about Dean. She usually checked the mail for Miss Townsend. She knew the woman had to have been waiting for something from her attorney. So when the mailman pulled up at the mailbox, Artis headed out to get it. She handed mail to Maybelle. Oh, thank you, honey. I appreciate it. You're welcome. Artis headed back to the kitchen to finish putting up the dishes, and then she heard something Maybelle said. I wish this man would quit it. If he don't quit, tired of these people sending his mail here because he wants to hide. What was that, Mrs. Townsend? That's when Artis returned to the living room. That doggone cousin of mine. Cousin? What cousin? That my cousin, child. Dean used to stay here with me during the time he was getting a divorce, and his mail is still coming here. He used to stay here with me and my husband long years ago when he was a lot younger. Then he got married. Then he stayed here again when he was getting divorced. We thought when he got married it would settle him down, but he still couldn't keep it zipped. Oh, you had a cousin that stayed with you? Artis probed, hoping the woman would give her more information. Yeah, I did. Maybelle said as she proffered the mail to her and added, "Here, put this mail over there on the table by the door. He'll be by here to pick it up one day. I don't know why his stuff is still coming here, no way." "Oh, you sound like you're fed up, Miss Maybelle." "I've been fed up with that boy for decades. He wasn't nothing but a player, and he used to try to get me to lie for him. But he had a good scare one day when the girl tried to kill him." "Wow, really?" "Uh-huh. Tried to take him right on out of this world. He lucky to be alive." Artis took the mail and glanced at it. The name was Dean Hayes. She was more curious now. Where did he live now? She hoped to be there when he stopped by. He was probably in his 60s by this point. He looked to be in his late 20s in the photos that looked like they were in the 1980s. So, a woman tried to kill him. She wondered. Later, she pulled up his name on fastpeoplesearch.com in their state. There were 3 of them. One of them was age 37, the other one was age 44, and the third one was 66 years old. That had to be him. The address was 1336 Melnor Drive. She saved the address in her phone and continued working for the rest of the day, and by the time it was time to get Maybelle to bed, it was after 7 p.m. She searched Facebook for Dean Hayes, but did not find anyone that could have been him. She looked at his address again, noting the fact that he only lived 7 miles from Maybelle. She put on her jeans, grabbed her car keys, and headed out, making sure she set the alarm on the house. She hopped into her car and drove over to the address. Once she pulled off, she started talking to herself, wondering if this was the right thing to do, wondering why. She would be looking for some man she didn't know, wondering why she was so curious. As her GPS talked to her, she grew more and more nervous. She sat across the street from the house. She thought about the fact that she could have taken his mail over there, therefore using that as an opportunity to meet him and letting him know that his cousin wanted him to have his mail and that she worked for her. But she didn't think of that before. She waited nearly an hour before a black vehicle pulled into the driveway. An older man stepped out. She paid close attention. He had graying temples and darker hair in the crown of his head. He was tall and had a confident stride. For an older man, he was fine. She willed her heart to be still. Mrs. Townsend referred to him as her younger cousin, and she was 71. That meant he had to be in his mid to late 60s. He was the 66-year-old, no doubt. He headed into the house, closed the door behind him. She started the car and headed back to Mrs. Townsend's house. She grabbed the key from the hutch and headed back up to the room where Dean used to sleep. She did not know what it is about this man that intrigued her so much. She goes through his boxes and views the photos of him again. A picture began forming in her mind about him. She felt herself getting sleepy, and the next thing she knew, she was making herself comfortable in his bed. Before she realized it, her eyes closed, and she was sleeping. Chapter 5.
Hey girl, get up if you want to go to this party tonight.
Artis heard someone say. She opened her eyes. Dean was standing there. The young version of Dean was standing there. He slapped her bottom for emphasis.
All right, get up, girl, get up.
She was confused. The man she was looking at was young and did not look like the guy she had seen get out of the car the night before when she spied on him. Where am I? Where am I at?
I know that weed was good, but not that good. Get up.
He was pulling an outfit out of the closet. He had a towel wrapped around his waist as if he had just gotten out of the shower. Artis pulled herself out of bed, the same bed she fell asleep in.
Wear that cute dress I like. You know that cute little red dress?
Artis went to take a shower on the second level. To her surprise, Maybelle was sitting in the room watching TV with her husband, and they looked like they were in their early 30s. You and Dean going out tonight? Maybelle asked. Yeah, we're gonna go out.
He can go out and party with all them celebrities, but he ain't paid his rent this month.
Maybelle's husband said. Artis took her shower. When she returned to the room, Dean was all decked out in his dark slacks and white shirt. To her surprise, the red dress he was referring to was hanging in the closet. She got dressed, wearing a pair of black pumps with that dress.
One more thing,
He said before they left the room. He pulled a gold chain from a long flat box and placed it around her neck. She looked in the full-length mirror, running her hand over the chain. Oh, Dean, this is beautiful,
like you.
he said as his full lips met hers. Then he said,
All right, girl, let's go.
He opened the door of his Audi and she stepped in. She had never felt this special ever before. His left hand handled the wheel of the vehicle as he leaned slightly to the side while driving. Most people referred to that as the gangster lean, which was popular in the 80s. They pulled in front of the club. Lots of people were waiting outside to get in. Dean pulled into a parking space in one fluid motion, got out, opened the door, and headed into the door ahead of everyone else standing in line at the club. Hey, Dean, baby, a woman's voice called out as they passed her. He waved at the woman but did not break his stride as he and Artis headed to the door. Once they stepped inside, Artis could feel jealousy immediately bubbling inside of her. Dean had been nice to her. He was a pure gentleman. Another woman said hello and winked at him, and by the end of the night, she realized he was quite popular with the women. But the lovemaking he gave her that night was his most redeemable quality. He was gentle in every way, making her feel wanted, needed, and desired. She knew she had to do all she could to hold on to this man.
Work long hours, everything was free, and now a time to remember, like a beautiful day in September, a time to remember, like a beautiful day in September.
Chapter 6. Artis woke up, but when she saw Dean lying next to her, she knew she was not dreaming. How did she end up in 1988? Something was wrong. She studied his chiseled jawline and thick eyebrows. He was absolutely handsome. Dean! 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 Came the voice outside of the bedroom with a knock. You got a phone call. Artis got up, opened the bedroom door. Maybelle stood on the other side, holding a cordless phone, and she said, "Is he still asleep?" Yeah, he's still asleep. Wake his behind up. Tired of these games. Dean stirred until he eventually opened his eyes.
Yeah, cuz.
Phone, nigga. She proffered the phone to him. He got up and took it. Maybelle left, and Artis closed the bedroom door.
Yeah, what's up?
Why you leave last night and didn't say nothing? Artis could hear the female voice through the receiver.
I'm a grown man. Who you talking to?
Well, grown men act responsibly.
I'm not sitting on this phone arguing with you, April.
Artis wondered if the person who signed the letter with the letter A was the woman he was talking to now, April. Although she was in another time period, she still remembered 2026. She just could not understand how she ended up trapped in a time that was 38 years ago. He hit the hang up button and tossed the phone onto the bed. You need me to take the phone back downstairs?
No, I'll do it later. Where you want to go out for breakfast?
How about I let you choose?
See, that's what I love about you, girl. You so easy to get along with. Come here, give me a kiss, girl.
His lips met hers, and he gently kissed her. His hands caressed her. He gave her such a high that she could not even describe.
Okay, let's get ready. I got a little surprise for you.
She wanted to ask him about April, but thought better of it. She did not want to end up in the same box as April. He seemed the type who hated being questioned, but the night before, she had met a few famous people at the club, and she felt like a celebrity herself. After breakfast, he took her shopping, and once they were done, they went out to dinner where they met up with a famous actor named Willie Hamilton and his girlfriend Maxine Wilson, an R&B singer. Maxine was about a decade older than Willie, but they seemed so perfect for each other. The four of them sat at the table. Willie Hamilton talked about his next movie. Artis was enthralled with this setup, being around celebrities in the VIP section of the restaurant. Suddenly, there was commotion nearby. A woman was arguing with security. "You not gonna tell me I've been here before," a woman bellowed. Dean looked up and uttered an expletive. Artis wondered if he knew the woman. He stood and said,
I'll be right back, y'all.
Artis watched him walk towards the woman and security.
You mind handling this, Dean? You mind doing something with her? You mind doing something with her, Dean?
The security guy said. That's when Artis realized Dean knew the woman.
What are you doing here, April?
That was the second time April's name was heard. Something inside Artis's heart jumped when she heard that. Something about this made her nervous, especially when he took her to a location out of earshot. She tried to strain to hear what they were talking about, and she could only guess, judging by their gestures. He held up his finger while talking to her, while the woman placed her hands on her hips. Then she tried to hug him, but he pushed her away. Artis could not guess what he said to get her to leave, but she finally walked away. Dean returned to the table with a grin on his face, but Artis realized who likely wrote that letter to him. It was signed with the letter A. She seemed crazy about Dean.
You awfully quiet.
Dean commented one day we're driving home. Artis did not know what to say. Dean had been so gentle and attentive to her. She thought he loved her. But, she said, "Who is April?"
She's a friend.
He answered, almost dismissively. She called you this morning and shows up at the restaurant later the same day?
Artis, are you going to be like all these other women who have no self-confidence? I thought you were different. That's why I chose you.
Dean, I was just asking.
Yeah, and if I say she's a friend, You need to take my word for it.
Artis did not want to upset him. He had shown her such a lovely time. She was being laced with all kinds of gifts, and she had to admit he was extremely beguiling and engaging. She had known no man as attentive as Dean Hayes. Chapter 7. Over the next few days, things were great. He took her to Mexico, and when they returned to the States, they headed up to New York for a concert. Kathy Kent Graves took the stage and sang some of her greatest hits.
Can I roll with you, baby? Take your arm like a lady. While we step out into the night, arching up and flying high. All the stars drip down on me and you. We already planned what we gonna do. Can I roll with you, baby? Cause you know I'm your lady. Can I roll with you, baby? Cause you know I'm your lady. Can I roll with you, baby? Cause you know I'm your lady. Can I roll with you, baby? Cause you know. Broadcast. It was a night that we met on the dance floor. I was wearing my best outfit and my 4-inch stilettos. Yeah. I was deep into my dance when you asked me for the chance to step with me while I moved to the funky beat. It's been a long while since we took it to the level of the old school style. I said it's been a long while since we took it to the level of the old school style. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah!
Ooh. I can hear the trumpets and feel the bass while I move to the rhythm with you face to face. Face to face. I can hear the trumpets, I can feel the bass while I move to the rhythm with you face to face. Let's bring it back to the level of the old school style. For all y'all youngins here, this is how we did it back then. Now bring it back and bring it forward. Drop it down and step it up. Bring it back and bring it forward. Drop it down and step it up. Bring it back and bring it forward. Drop it down and step it up. Bring it back.
They headed back home to their town. Instead of Dean bringing Artis to his house, he dropped her off at her own home. I thought I was coming home with you. Artis had no idea that she lived anywhere other than Maybelle's house in 1988. So when he pulled up to an apartment complex, she was baffled.
What did I tell you about that, Artis? I told you about that.
Told me about what? I'm asking, why is it that all of a sudden...
Being so possessive. That's what I told you about. You know I don't like that. You question me about my business.
That's because you do questionable things, Dean.
You know what? Get out. Just get out.
Dean.
Get out. Get out of my car, Artis. I don't have time for this.
You know how much I love you, Dean. And this is what I get in return.
Don't I buy you nice things? Don't I take you out? I wouldn't be seen in public with you if I wasn't feeling you.
But him buying her nice things was not enough. She needed more. More love. More attention. The truth. And ever since April made her presence known, her insecurity had skyrocketed. Being in an uncertain relationship was frightening. Navigating in the dark intensified it. When she finally got out of the car, he sped out immediately. As soon as she entered her apartment building, she cried. Surprisingly, she found the apartment she lived in. She dropped onto the sofa and relentless tears poured from her face. Once she was exhausted with tears, she went to bed. The next day, she felt a little more refreshed. So she called Dean.
What's up?
Hey, Dean. I'm sorry about last night.
Hey, don't worry about it.
No, I really owe you an apology.
Sweetheart, it's okay. Alright?
His term of endearment made her feel much better. Knowing he was no longer upset with her had realigned her emotional state. So, what's on your schedule for tonight?
I'm going to the show with LL tonight.
She wanted to ask if she could come along, but he was making her feel as though she was desperate. So she decided to pull back.
I'll see you when I get back in town, sweetie.
Well, that last statement answered her question. He let her know that she would not be accompanying him. Once again, she felt crushed. But pushing would make it worse. So she decided to play it off and said, "Oh, okay. Well, have a good time."
Alright, I'll hit you up when I get back in town.
She hung up and let out a sigh. She did not know what she would do with Dean. He was tough to capture. He showered her with gifts. But when it came to attention, he was elusive. When it came to emotional support, he was elusive. If only she could capture his heart, she would be set. She knew there were plenty of women out there throwing in their bid for him. That alone should make her run, but she did not want to. She wanted him to choose her. She wanted to show how different she was compared to other women. She would not be like April and show up at one of his favorite restaurants and show her behind. She was better than that. Chapter 8. Artis did not hear from Dean for 3 days. She wanted to call, but she thought better of it. Finding something to do was tough, so she decided to head down to Aileen's restaurant for some good ribs. Ever since Dean had taken her there, she could not resist the food. A young woman approached her table. "Hi, may I take your order?" When Artis looked up, she realized her waitress was April. She recognized her right away. Thoughts of Dean sailed through her mind immediately. "Hey, don't I know you? You're the chick that was hanging out with Dean a couple of weeks ago." "Yes, we were hanging out." Artis posted up. How dare this little heifer question her? So, how is that working out for you?" "Excuse me? You know, with Dean. You haven't heard from him, have you?" Artis wondered how this girl knew. Maybe he was playing the same game on her that he had played on April. All of that went through her mind until April said, "Yeah, you sitting there wondering how I know. The reason I know is because we've been together the last few days. I even went to the show with him in LL. Oh, April had one-upped her all right. Artis's heart sank with grief. It felt like someone had crushed her with a boulder. She was suddenly not hungry, and she closed the menu and said, "Thanks, but I'll be leaving." "Oh, you lost your appetite." Artis wanted to punch that short woman in her face. Instead of answering, she left the restaurant. Pain stabbed her all over continuously. The road ahead looked like it was underwater because of the relentless tears pouring out. She was thankful to finally make it home. and she decided to write him a letter.
August 7, 1988. Dear Dean, I cannot believe you will hurt me that way. It was so embarrassing. You know how much I have loved you since the day we met. But when that woman told me she was at your house the other night, I was deeply hurt. You told me you were at the show with LL. All of the love we've shared meant nothing to you. Giving myself to you means nothing. I wish you had been honest, but you were cheating, lying, and lying about cheating. I love you with everything I had inside of me, and I cannot handle betrayal. Then you ignore all of my calls as if I never even existed. I hope one day you wake up and realize the consequences of your actions. Love, A.
After writing that letter, something occurred to her. That was the same letter she found in his room. Was she the woman who wrote the letter? The person signed the letter as A. The first letter of her name was also A, not just April. She thought that maybe she should not give him that letter, but she had to. It was time for him to know how she felt about his behavior. Chapter 9. 3 days after her encounter with April, Artis got a call from Dean.
Hello? Hey, babe.
He said, as if he wasn't out there cheating.
Dean, did you get my letter?
Yeah, and that's why I'm calling you. Who are you talking about in that letter? What woman?
That broad named April. I ran into her at the restaurant she worked at.
April? You listening to April? What'd I tell you about that, Artis?
Tell me about what? Tell me about what, Dean?
About acting like all them other chicks. Like I said, I thought you was different.
He constantly gaslit her, and she was tired of the uncertainty. An older woman once told her that there is a disease that is carried by men and suffered by women. That disease is insanity. He was driving her insane, an emotional type of insanity that made her not want to give up. That was the insane part of it all. She had become addicted to him, addicted to his love-making, attention, and the fact that his masculinity brought a whirlwind of emotions that she could not control.
Well, since I haven't seen you, what was I supposed to believe?
You supposed to believe me. April wants me. I don't want her, and she's sour.
Well, if I was her, I think I would be feeling the same way too, Dean.
Listen, Artis, I don't have time for this. Now, are we going to Barlow's tonight? Are you coming with me?
He was referring to a club where lots of important people hung out. So she said,
Sure, why not?
All right, I'll pick you up around 8. I got something for you.
That was it. He had her again. She donned her red dress with the gold chain he had bought her and that tennis bracelet. He showed up as promised.
Hey, sweetheart.
He gave her a slow, sensual kiss. That kiss that made her dizzy.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
That's my girl.
He held her hand while his left hand handled the wheel. The club was crowded when they pulled up. There were many people standing outside. He parked and they held hands as they headed inside. He found their table and they enjoyed the music. He then reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. He flipped the lid open and presented her with a diamond ring.
Oh, Dean! Oh, for me?
Who else but you?
He slid the ring onto her right ring finger and not her left hand, and she had to wonder what that was all about. The waiter continued to bring drinks, and he was tossing them back, one after the other.
Dean, you might want to slow down on the drinking.
Oh, baby, I got this.
But he tossed down another one 5 minutes later, and then she showed up. April. Artis should have known this night wouldn't end on a perfect note. The woman boldly approached their table as if the heifer had no shame, as if she had some kind of right to do so. Dean, she crowed, ignoring the fact that Artis was sitting right there next to him at the table.
Now you listen to me, you little slut. You done already disrespected me once. You ain't about to do it again.
Know your place, okay? Know your place, you hoe. Artis sprung from her seat and lunged for the other woman, but Dean stepped between them and pulled April away. You gonna stand there and let her talk to me like that when I am carrying your child, Dean? This is what you do? That revelation surprised Artis.
Wait a minute. She's pregnant?
If she is, it ain't mine.
April slapped him across the face. By then, a bouncer arrived at the table and told April she had to leave. No, y'all need to make her leave. She's the one sitting up here with my man. By then, Dean decided he would leave. He pulled out some cash and tossed it on the table and turned to Artis and said,
Hey, let's go. Let's get out of here.
He led her outside, and that is when she let him have it.
Okay, now you need to start talking. What is going on with her, Dean?
Listen here, ain't nothing going on with her, okay? Nothing, alright? Don't worry about it.
They headed to the car, and she noticed him stumbling. She decided to drive, but she was not done with this conversation.
Dean, I demand to know what's going on.
I told you nothing, alright? And slow down.
You don't tell me how to drive. You don't tell me how to drive. You need to start talking.
Wait a minute. You driving my car? Yes, I do.
No, you don't. You don't. You're out here screwing these hoes. I'm tired of it, Dean. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you going out here lying to me.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something right there.
I'm sick
like
of
I said, I ain't screwing nobody.
I'm sick of
I
it.
ain't screwing nobody.
I'm sick of you lying. I'm sick of you hurting me. I'm sick of it.
By then, Artis had unbuckled her seatbelt. Dean did not realize she was heading towards an embankment that led to a river.
Hey, what you doing? You need to slow down. What is you doing? Hey, girl, slow down.
Goodbye, Dean Hayes. It was nice knowing you.
She said before opening the driver's door and jumping out and rolling on the ground. The car careened towards the river. He never had time to jump out, even to unbuckle his seatbelt. She could hear him hollering until the car landed in the river. She watched it sink until she could no longer see the roof of the vehicle. After the car disappeared, she sunk to the ground and cried.
I'm sorry, Dean. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you hurt me. You hurt me. Dean, you hurt me. But you won't hurt me ever again. Ever again.
She lied on the grassy area, and that's where she fell asleep.
Hope one day he'll demand me for slide in. Stepping in.
Chapter 10. The sounds of birds woke her up. She opened her eyes. She was lying on the ground where she had been the night before. Then it hit her. She had killed Dean last night. She rose from the ground and started walking. But something occurred to her. Judging by the vehicles on the road, it was 2026 again. She didn't know what was going on. She was so disoriented. Why was she in the same clothes she wore at the club the night before if this was 2026? She wondered. Nothing was making sense anymore. The only thing she could do was to return to Maybelle's house. After walking nearly 2 hours, she looked up at the house as she arrived, wondering if she should go inside. She headed up the porch steps and rang the bell. "Don't you have a key?" Maybelle said as soon as she opened the front door. "And child, why are you so dirty? Where have you been the last 2 days? I was about to call the agency for another aide." Artis stepped into the house. She did not say a word. She was still dazed and confused. "Are you okay, child?" "Yes, Miss Maybelle, I'll be okay. I just need a shower." "You sure do." Artis took a shower in the other bathroom. Afterwards, she headed to her room, grabbed a change of clothing. She stopped suddenly. She stepped out in the hallway and looked down the hall. The door of Dean's bedroom was still closed. She headed to the door and tried the knob. Surprisingly, it opened. She stepped inside. All of his clothes were still in the room. Then something caught her eye. Something that laid on the dresser. Something she had not seen before. It was an obituary. She walked over, picked it up. On the cover was Dean's face. It read, "Dean Hayes, December 22nd, 1957 through June 28th, 1988. She felt herself heave. All of this had her now wondering. After changing, she headed downstairs to fix Maybelle's lunch. "You feeling better? You know, water is a medicine, I tell you." "Yes, thanks, I am feeling better." Once her mind settled down, she had a question for Maybelle. "Mrs. Townsend, can I ask you something?" "Sure. What is it?" "I remember you telling me that some woman tried to kill your cousin Dean." Now, what made you bring that up?" "Well, I was just wondering." "Just wondering? But that's not what I told you. I never told you some woman tried to kill him. I said a jealous girlfriend killed him, drove his behind right into the Cherbourg River one night. They found the car 2 days later with him in it." "Oh, and that was back in when?" 1988. I'll never forget it. It was 2 days after my birthday when they found him." "Oh, wow. Well, that's what we were all saying. Wow. But you know what?" "What?" "They never found that crazy heifer that killed him. She just vanished. She just never showed up again after that night." A
hallway may appear endless, or it may lead through a door. Now, what's behind the door is the key, because you may be leading yourself through an insane path of the Attic series.
What did y'all think? Mm. I hope that ending was the bomb. I really hope that y'all wasn't expecting that. And you know something, when I was writing it, I wasn't expecting it either. I had sort of a different ending, but then something hit me when I was at work and I was walking down the hall and I said, no, you know what? I'm going to change that ending. So, and I'm glad that I did because I know that y'all was not expecting that ending. Okay, so comment below. Tell me what you think. Don't be afraid to comment. I mean, I know y'all busy out there because I'm a busy person too. But tell me what you think in the comments below, and hopefully we go get some dialogue started. I don't think that there's many people out here doing audiobooks on YouTube the way that I'm doing them. I mean, I haven't really found anyone. I found one other person who actually posted the coldest winter online, and they actually had still slide video, whatever, like I do. But I don't think everybody's doing that. I don't think most people are doing that. And I'm finding that the people that do look at my stuff find it really fun. So, and exciting. So, with all of that being said, I would check y'all at the next level because there will be another one coming, and it is called The Root of Evil. Okay, so take care, everybody, and bye.